Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Urban Outcast. I'm your host, the Outcast, Mark Urban. Cognitive dissonance.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Well, there's several definitions, different ways to explain it, depending on the context. But basically, what I'm talking about in a nutshell, in layman's terms, it's basically that which falls outside your normal preconceived notions about life, reality, and anything that goes outside the so-called truths that you've previously believed or been taught, and the mental discomfort that comes along with it, which often is shock and disbelief. So what I'm going to attempt to do over these next short series of videos is bring some of these things to your attention and walk through them with you using the Socratic method and critical thinking to dissect and investigate just what are these things that are so opposite of what we've previously believed. Why are they becoming so popular amongst so-called conspiracy theorists? Which is a term that seems to be loosely thrown around now for anybody who doesn't toe the line of the mainstream narrative perpetrated by government and legacy media. In some cases in which it's actually scrubbed from the internet or censored through, fact checkers and misinformation or disinformation. What are they afraid of? Truth remains constant regardless of how you feel about it. It's always truth. So if what they're saying is true and what the opposition is saying isn't true, why not let intelligent people figure it out and let the facts bear themselves out? Well, it's a rhetorical question because the answer is simple. They don't want you to know the truth because that would expose them for the lying, power-hungry control freaks that they are and their sinister agenda to control everybody in a one-world dictatorial power structure where the elites are at the top, there is no middle class, and the rest of us are just sickly, obedient little working monkeys nursing off the tit of the government. That's ultimately what they want. It's not that hard to believe if you understand the nature of evil. But of course, in order for them to do that, they have to control the narrative and destroy the working middle class and anyone else that does not go along with the program. We're seeing examples of this now with whistleblowers coming out and certain elites getting busted and then suddenly ended up suicided or instantly riddled with cancer or mysteriously dying of a sudden heart attack. But hey, nothing to see here, folks. Move along. So why does this affect me, Mark? Why should I care about this? I'm a working mom. I'm a working dad. I've got a job. I got a family to raise. I don't have time to follow all of this political mumbo jumbo. It just hurts my head. It just makes me nauseous. Does it really affect me anyway? I just want to live my life and be left alone. Well, here's the problem, guys. That ship sailed a long time ago. That train left the station eons ago. I've been that guy for a long time now that's been warning for decades and irritating people of what's coming. If we don't change X, Y, and Z, this is what's going to happen. And, people say, oh, Mark, you're just a doomsdayer. You're just, always sounding the bells of conspiracy. But the interesting thing is there's suddenly been a shift recently, and COVID was a big part of that, I think. It kind of peeled the scab off of some of what's going on. What's the latest saying that's been going around? Today's conspiracy, tomorrow's news. Just give it 6 months or less. So back to how does it affect you? Well, it affects you because you can no longer ignore it. You don't have that luxury anymore. And it affects you because your tax dollars are being used against you to fund all these programs and all these things that I'm going to be discussing. They all come back to your tax dollars. You're paying to be lied to. You're paying to be deceived, and you're paying to be controlled. I used to say, folks, this is going to be at your doorstep soon. Well, now I don't say that because guess what? It's at your doorstep. And with this 2024 election coming, there's a whole bunch of scenarios in play. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're going to break down and talk about some of that. But I can tell you there's going to be some stuff happening, and it ain't going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. And it's because we've allowed it to get to where it is now by ignoring it, putting our heads in the sand. There's a saying, an ostrich can bury his head in the sand, but he's still going to get eaten. And that's what a lot of people do. I don't want to hear it. I just can't. Little children do this. Put their hands up over their face and I can't see you, you can't see me, therefore there's no danger. So many people do that. They just go, oh, I'm going to turn it off and pretend like it doesn't exist. The problem with that, folks, is now it's in your government, it's in your school, it's in your grocery store, it's in your car, it's in your phone, and now it's in your house. We are being monitored and watched and controlled on so many levels, and we've allowed it. That's been allowed by sheep who don't want anything to do with the sheepdogs or be part of the sheepdog society until the wolves come around. And then they literally hide behind one lowly sheepdog that's trying to do the right thing and protect the flock. Well, I'm one of those sheepdogs that's here today trying to get my friends and my family and the people in my circle on my Facebook page, social media, who, you don't have all the time in the world to be listening to all the podcasts and all the information that I do. And that's fine. So what do? Well, first of all, awareness, which is what I'm trying to do. Well, you are one of those people, you've got your life and you do what you need to do, but we also need you in the fight. So maybe take a minute. What I'm asking you is to venture into this journey with me and listen to some of the things that I'm going to be presenting, whether it be on the local level, state level, international level. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of things that all tie into you, your tax dollars, your life, and the things that directly affect you and this power structure that surrounds you. So some of the things right out of the gate I'm going to talk about are going to be really hard because you've been taught that they're ancient or mythological, or it's not based in reality. And we, the elite, we have the proof. We have all the science. We have, just trust the media, trust the government, trust science, trust the leaders, trust the experts. God, I hear that so much. Trust the expert. Well, what defines an expert these days? That's a whole nother rabbit trail, because I've watched so-called experts crumble when asked certain questions that are pretty simple, really, that they should know. A lot of the experts just follow the narrative of somebody above them. So I'm going to ask you to put aside your preconceived notions and throw on your investigative hat and say, okay, you say this, show me, and allow me to show you. All right. So with that said, one of the things right out of the gate that's the latest on the news that I want to take a look at with you, it's very interesting, is this Philadelphia bridge collapse. Now, you can go take a look at my Facebook page and you can see right away I called BS. I was like, okay, conspiracy theorists, here we go. Couple things right away stand out. First of all, folks, your government has been doing false flag things, or false flag events, they call them, for a long time now. Those are some of the things that are going to twist your brain. You're going to have a hard time believing, because I've run into people, why would our government do this? Again, there's so many people, cognitive dissonance just separates them from the reality of evil and what evil men and power hungry people will do, and the extents they'll go, and the money and the elaborate resources they have to do it. Okay. From the school shootings to, we're going to get into 9/11, JFK. Now we know JFK was murdered by the CIA. We all suspected it, but, that was just a conspiracy theory. There's more of this stuff coming out. So this bridge collapse in Philadelphia. First thing, as I watched this video, there's some things that stood out. So we're going to go through it here. And I want you to put on your critical thinking hat and tell me if these things don't strike you as strange. All right, let's take a look at this. So first of all, what do we notice? There's the cargo ship on its course. Looks like it's heading to go, underneath the bridge. Then all of a sudden, we notice it loses power. Okay, but what else do you notice? It's still on the same trajectory, still has the same course, still has the same heading, still going the same direction. Until all of a sudden, suddenly, what do we notice? When the power comes back on, just for a second, now notice all of a sudden, it changes course sharply and starts heading straight for the pylon. Now it appears to lose power again, but if you look closely, there's also seems to be some sort of alternative power or backup power, because you can see the lights on the inside. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or allows, rudder power, engine power, or anything like that. But what's very strange is you look at right at the end, it doesn't continue to turn as though it has lost power. It straightens out and heads straight for the pylon. Now, you tell me that doesn't strike you as odd. Why did, when the power came back on, it suddenly took a hard right? It's like it course corrected perfectly, setting its coordinates right towards the pylon, the right trajectory and the right speed. Okay. Why didn't it just keep going straight? Well, they say there was a 13-mile-an-hour crosswind. Okay, that's not going to push that boat that sharp and that quick. Plus, it doesn't explain how, when the power came back on, it suddenly veered. It seems to me a little bit more like the power came back on and the rudder was turned. And if that's the case, the power went off, then why didn't it keep turning, right, and miss the pylon? It took such a hard right turn. Why didn't it keep turning right? You know, perhaps the rudder was stuck and the ship just kept turning and maybe would have even went in a circle. But that's not what you see happen here. It goes straight for the pylon. Folks, what are the chances of that? Something's not right here. I mean, anybody with a critical thinking mind can see this. I don't know, something's fishy, something's set up. I can't prove it yet, but there's no way that this looks like it was an accident to me. Why? I don't know yet. The thing with the news cycle, one of the things Dan Bongino says is wait 48 hours, 48, 72, give it a little time to germinate because things are going to start coming out. Now, I have not looked at a lot of other videos on this because I wanted to kind of give my own analogy, but I have glanced and seen there's a lot of other people that agree with me that something's not right here. So anyway, folks, it's just one of those things that most people will go, oh, what a tragedy, and just move on with their day. But I want you to ask, okay, does anything here seem a little suspicious to you, and why? Why Philadelphia? Why that bridge? Why the timing? I don't know. You can send me your comments. You can send me your thoughts. But I want you, just kind of come along with this journey to me and say, okay, could it be possible it was an accident? Sure, absolutely. It could be. But when you look at how it happened in light of everything that our government pulls on us, could this be, hey, look over here while they're doing something over here? What is it a distraction from? Is it a distraction from something else? What else is going on? Are we doing something overseas? Are we doing something that's going to come out later? You just had this Sean P. Diddy Combs incident come to light. I don't know. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Probably totally unrelated. But, I want you to start processing these things and thinking, hey, well, Mark, I just don't care. It doesn't affect me. Well, maybe this particular incident doesn't, but there are other ones that do. And we don't know yet what exactly this entails. Could it be another money grab? And then Biden comes out and says, we're gonna pay for it. We, us, you and me. Like he's got our checkbook. He's just gonna write a check. Well, what about the insurance company for the barge that I'm sure has multi-billion-dollar coverage? Those ships are huge. Where's the insurance claim? Anyway, things to think about, guys. And I hope you'll, kind of come along with me on this journey. Take a look at some of these things. Set aside your preconceived notions, because I'm going to throw some stuff at you down the road here we're going to get into that's really interesting. UFOs, are they real? Or is it just advanced technology that we have that they're not telling us about? Things like the fact that we pretty much know now our CIA and our FBI, our three-letter agencies, many of them are very corrupt, at least at the top, for sure, and are involved in sex trafficking, drug dealing, a lot of trade for information. They'll let a lot of things go. The whole Afghanistan war has to do with drugs and human trafficking. So can I prove that? No, but I've watched enough videos with former special ops guys and former CIA guys, whistleblowers that are saying, there's a lot of things our tax dollars are paying for, folks, that we're allowing our government to do. And like good little monkeys and robots, we just go, okay. Anyway, I want you guys to think about some things. And hey, you know what? We're going to keep doing this. And hope you'll join me on this journey and just take a look at some of these things. So anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching the Urban Outcast short. And until next time, keep thinking critically.